Vera Rinci, dubbed the Black Widow, Mrs. Poison, or Chatelaine of Barcaricol, was a Romanian serial killer who allegedly confessed to poisoning 35 individuals including her 2 husbands, multiple lovers, and her son with arsenic during the 1920s. The earliest report published by Otto Tolitius in the United States was in May 1925. The article is based on letters from the readers without naming any reference. Rinci's story has surfaced repeatedly, but without traceable details such as specific dates of her birth, marriages, arrest, conviction, incarceration, or death. Most sources place the murders at Barcaricol, Yugoslavia, present-day Serbia, or Bekarec, which changed the name to Zrenjanin in 1946, although the spelling Barcaricol is unknown for this city. In 1972, the Guinness Book of World Records found no authoritative sources to support the claim that 35 people were killed by Rinci in early 20th century Austro-Hungarian Empire. According to some accounts, Rinci was born in Bucharest in 1903, but in view of the dates of her alleged crimes, a date in the late 19th century would be more appropriate. The accounts of her life are lacking in verifiable documentary supporting evidence. Her mother died when she was 13 and she moved with her father to Najibekskirac, today Zrenjanin, Serbia, where she attended a boarding school. By the age of 15, she had become increasingly unmanageable and had frequently run away from home with numerous boyfriends, many of whom were significantly older than she was. Early childhood friends described Rinci as having an almost pathological desire for constant male companionship citation needed and possessing a highly jealous and suspicious nature. Shortly before the age of 20, her first marriage was to a wealthy Austrian banker named Karl Schick, many years her senior. They had a son named Lorenzo. Left at home daily while her older husband worked, she began to suspect that her husband was being unfaithful. One evening, in a jealous rage, Rinci poisoned his dinner wine with arsenic and began to tell family, friends, and neighbors that he had abandoned her and their son. Citation needed. After approximately a year of mourning, she then declared that she had heard word of her supposedly estranged husband's death in a car accident. Shortly after allegedly hearing the news of her first husband's automobile accident, Rinci remarried. Citation needed, this time to a man nearer her own age. Citation needed. However, the relationship was a tumultuous one and Rinci was again plagued by the suspicion that her new husband was involved in extramarital affairs. After only months of marriage the man vanished. Citation needed, and Rinci then told friends and family that he had abandoned her. After a year had passed, she then claimed to have received a letter from her husband proclaiming his intentions of leaving her forever. This would be her last marriage. Although Rinci did not remarry, she spent the next several years carrying out a number of affairs, some clandestine with married men, and others openly. The men came from an array of backgrounds and social positions. All would vanish within months, weeks, and in some cases, even days after becoming romantically involved with her. Citation needed. When connected to men she was openly having an affair with, she would invariably concoct stories of them being unfaithful and having abandoned her. She was caught after having poisoned her last lover, a bank officer named Milorad. His wife reported his disappearance to the police, who ignored her. But she pursued her own investigation and rapidly found that Vera was her husband's mistress. She went back to the police, who sent 2 inspectors to the chateau. She admitted to them that Milorad had been her lover, but that he had quit her. Impressed by her beauty, wealth, and excellent reputation, the police abandoned their search. The wife went back to the police and started to ask questions which should have been asked long time ago. Where was her husband Joseph? Where was their son? What happened to the numerous other men who people knew they were her lover and had also disappeared? The police went back to see her. Not only she then denied that Milorad was her lover, which she had admitted before, but the police had a proof, a love letter sent by her to her lover. The police got a search warrant and discovered a locked round cellar underground. In it were 35 spaces, each with a zinc-lined coffin inside. In the middle of the cellar were a red armchair, a big church candle and an empty bottle of champagne. She told them that it was all family members, but they insisted in opening one coffin, in which was the decomposed body of a man. They then opened all the others ones, in which they found the same thing. Arrested, she confessed that she had poisoned all of them with arsenic when she suspected they had been unfaithful to her or when she believed their interest in her was waning. She also confessed to the police that, on occasion, she liked to sit in the armchair, surrounded by the coffins of all her former lovers. She was convicted of 35 murders and sentenced to death, but, at that time, Yugoslavia did not execute women. She was instead condemned to life in prison. During her trial, she had started showing signs of dementia. It became worse and worse in prison. She ended up talking to her victims and screaming obscenities. She died in 1960. Some have speculated that Rinchy's story may have inspired Joseph Kesselring's play Arsenic and Old Lace, yet this is incorrect. It was the Amy Archer Gilligan case which the playwright used as his model. In 2005, the Discovery Channel's three-part series Deadly Women recounted the history of Rinchy, portrayed through reenactments and commentaries from FBI agents and criminal profiler Candice DeLong and a forensic pathologist. Rinchy was featured in the series' first episode titled Obsession, where she is described as having killed her victims in the 1930s in Bucharest, Romania. As for her motivation, the voiceover says that modern analysis suggests she was simply looking for love. On March 17, 2012, a depiction of Rinchy appeared in the Daily Mirror, but it was proved to be a misidentified 2004 photograph, and an apology was printed. Remember to like, share, comment, and subscribe. This has been the Barrington Academy, home of intellectual discussions. Please check out our true crime playlist and be sure to give feedback in the comment section. Peace out for now.